think I'm a video.
Testing. Hey, for those of you online, could you put in the chat if you could see my screen and if you can hear me? Yay. Thanks, Haley. Appreciate it. Cool. Thanks, guys. I would love screen. Yeah, because she was onto it. She was. Yeah, it is. Hey, those of you online, we'll be starting in about 1 minute here, just at 1:05 to allow everyone to get in. Did you get the mobile app downloaded? Nice, great.
You can have that on your digital.
Oh, on your business card? Yeah, so you can create a QR code for the app. And what's cool about any QR code you want to create, you can just send the link to Scott Lorry Marketing and they'll respond back with the QR code for free within like 10 minutes or not less, or if not less. Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about what they do because everything that Scott Lorry Marketing provides is free to you guys. So I'll start with telling you more about that. Oh yeah, that was actually Joel. She is the contact specialist. But good, did you get them all in? Yeah, all right. That's good news. That's been an ongoing pain, like a month or so. right? And then you finally work on it, and then you run into glitches, and you're like, I'm just gonna put this off a little more. All right. All right, guys, let's get started. Thanks, Joel. I appreciate you. All right. Hi, everyone. For those of you I have not met, my name is Leah. I am your MC Tech Coordinator, along with Jules, my sister. Together, we are JuLeah Designs, which is really poorly written up there. There's our email address so that you can send us any questions that you have. So kind of our business model here is we're more than, we act as leverage. So we work for KW teams and agents. However, our business model is we're happy to show you how to do it for free as well. So we have tech appointments for 2 hours a day, Tuesday through Friday. You can sign up with a tech appointment where we can sit down for 30 minutes and we'll talk about, and we can do it once a week if you'd like, talk about, okay, what are your goals in real estate? And what are the tech tools that would help you meet those goals? Are you doing your first open house this weekend? Do you have a new listing that you need to promote and want to know how to get leads from your listing? Great, we know those strategies. So if you want to make an appointment with us, you can go to kwbresources.com. And then just click I need tech help. That's our Calendly link. You can just set up a 30-minute appointment. Feel free to come by once a week and we can focus on, right, because there's a lot of really great technology in there, which is awesome, but a little overwhelming. So if we meet each week, we can figure out what's your goal. What should you learn this week? What should you learn next? All right, so we'll break it down with you and really just be on your team with you. So that's one. So again, that's kwbresources.com. I need tech help, and that's in-person tech help. We're happy to teach you, show you anything that you need with the KW technology. Now, another marketing or technology partner that the office uses is called Scott Leroy Marketing. And I want to point this out because they do a lot of free stuff for you. And it's, again, free. And they respond back usually within 5 to 10 minutes. So if you have a time-sensitive tech question, right, you can always email it to us. That's totally fine. But Scott Leroy Marketing answers back in 5 to 10 minutes as part of their business model. Jules and I worked there for 6 years. So if you do want to get an answer to a really quick KW tech question, like, hey, is DocuSign down? Is this me or is everyone having that issue, for example? You can email support at scottleroymarketing.com. So scottleroymarketing.com. They respond back within 5 to 10 minutes during normal business hours. But what I want to show you on his website too, so I'm at scottleroymarketing.com, is all the free things they do for you. Okay. So first of all, if you want to follow along, I'm again on scottleroymarketing.com, and I just scroll down slightly to where it says Agent Resources, and I'm going to click on Agent Resources. Okay, because you will have to log into the site. Okay, and the login for the site is just your Market Center password. I might already be logged in. If it didn't prompt you to put in a password, you can click login on the right-hand side. So click login, sorry. Click login on the top white toolbar, and then this is just $350. So that's the Market Center number, is $350. And that's a password to get to all the free tools on Scott Leroy Marketing's website. So we click on login. Okay, and so how you get to all of those free resources under Agent Resources, the support tab right here. This is what lists all the free support items. So again, the login to Scott Leroy Marketing is $350. Okay, if you're ever prompted for a password, just $350. Then you hover over Agent Resources and click on support. And that will take you to this page where I see a complete list here of all the different free items they do. So they set up smart plans for me. They will import my contacts. That's a big one that I'll talk about today. If you have an update to your headshot that you need or get a new email address, they'll update it everywhere in your KW technology. Forward your KW email. Set up 8 custom pages. There's a bunch of custom pages that they set up on your site as well. So if you don't do anything else with this, I would jot down, if you want to make a draft in your email, support at scottleroymarketing.com. Email them and ask them to put all the custom pages on your website. I know that doesn't really pertain to today's class, but what they do for free, they go in and put on what is my home worth form. They do a local school search. They do a automated blog that automatically blogs for you. So they do it on a mortgage calculator. They do it for free. You just have to email them and ask for the custom pages to be added to your site. They will ask for your login to command. So if you just send it in the first email, they won't ask. And they get it done within, usually it's like 12 hours or less, but they quote you 1 to 2 business days, but it's usually within hours. Now, while we're on the topic of Scott Lowery marketing, and since we're talking about email newsletters today, obviously one of the biggest aspects there is your contacts need to be in command. So if you have not already sent your contact database to Scott Lowery marketing, that is something you'll want to put high on your to-do list. Okay, they just need your contacts in an Excel spreadsheet to import into command. And if you have your contacts, let's say in your phone or in your Google account, there are ways to export them. So jot down, kind of where do you think your contacts sit primarily? And then if you want to shoot me an email, right, or Scott, either one, we can send you steps on how to export your contacts so that you can have them imported. And again, that process will be free through Scott Lowery marketing. And it's one that I would really suggest using. Any questions on Scott Lowery marketing before I continue to newsletter marketing? All right, really cool free resource for you guys to use. All right, so first thing we are going to do is log into command. So I'm going to pull open a tab and go to agent.kw.com. So agent.kw.com. Definitely a website you'll want to bookmark. You'll go here daily. Okay, so again, I'm in command and we're going to check over your marketing profile settings to make sure all the contact information that's autofilling for you is correct and the most up to date. So if you can follow me, let's click on your name on the very top right of command. So click your name on the top right of command and then settings from that drop down. Okay, and these are steps I would recommend writing down. I'll say them again, because anytime that you have a change to any of your contact information, you just update it in this one spot and it updates everywhere for you. Your mobile app, your website, any emails you send, you name it, it'll all centralize from this one spot. So again, these steps are your name on the top right and then settings from that drop down. What do you see up there? Weird. I'll come look. And then on the left-hand side, you can click on Connect Settings. Then go ahead and select the only option there, Marketing Profile. All right, so those 4 steps again, your name on the top right, Settings. Connect Settings on the left-hand side, and you'll see your marketing profile here, okay? So again, this is where all of the information will pull from anytime you create anything in command. So please scroll through for a second here. Make sure everything is up to date. Your phone number, right? Is your bio up to date? If you are a newer agent and just joining, Scott Lowery Marketing adds a default bio for you, which is great. However, do put it on your list to start working on your bio. It's one of the best ways that you can connect to someone online if they stumble across you, okay? As far as what you are putting in your bio, right? Just try to make sure you're putting in content that helps people connect with you. Like, talk about your background. I'll send you on the Scott Lowery Marketing setups. I'll send you guys their tips, bio tips, if you would like those. And so the bio tips are things like, whether you use first person or third person, just be consistent. Like, are you talking about yourself in third person or I, right? I often like to write my bios in third person because it feels a lot easier to talk about myself that way. And it comes across like someone wrote it about me. Yeah. Yeah, I would recommend that. I would say like how that should look. And again, I'll send out tips. But, talk about your past careers in education. How did that tie in? Like, what skills did that teach you that tie in and make you a better realtor than any other realtor in the world? Like, why would they hire you as opposed to anyone else? Which beautifully said, value proposition, right? And then really that final paragraph is really where you want to put in your hobbies, because that is important to include, right? What do you do on your free time? Do you like to go hiking? Do you like to explore local Charlotte restaurants, right? Things like that. Right? And that helps people connect with you. What's your favorite sports team? Oh, you like Chapel Hill? Right, that's my favorite too. All right, so that was just a side note about the bio, but again, I'll send over tips for the bio if you are working on that. All right, just scroll on down, make sure that you see everything correct here, your phone number's in here. You can scroll all the way to the bottom, and when you're ready, you can click Save. Note that you can also add your social media links here at the bottom as well. So as you get those profiles going, you can come in and update that. Okay, so last thing in the settings that we need to do is we need to take a look at your command email settings, just double check that. So what you're going to do, if you could go ahead and click on your name again on the top right of command, and then settings again from that drop down. So again, your name on the top right of command, and then settings. Is it showing your name yet or still no? Are you able to click that?
Yeah.
So weird. Oh, okay, well, it seems to be functioning properly, but it's still weird. All right, so from here, scroll to the very bottom. Okay, this is showing you all the apps that you currently have linked to command. I kind of try to think of this as like an iPhone or an Android, right? Out of the box, your iPhone can do a whole lot, a new iPhone. However, you can go to your app store and download more apps to increase the functionality. Same concept here with command. So if you could scroll on down, so again, where I am, to access the apps that are connected, your name on the top right, and then settings. And that takes you right to the apps that are linked to command. And I'm going to scroll to the very bottom to take a look at the command email. Okay. If you can click on manage on the right hand side. This is how we can control where those emails come back to and what your name is in the inbox. Okay, so the sender name starting there, that's how your name will display in their inbox. So if your name's William, but you go by Bill and you want your marketing name to be Bill in their inbox, you can change it here, right? If you want the word realtor after your name in their inbox, you can add that here. So we're updating the sender name. I mean, you don't have to if it's good. And then reply to email. Okay, so whenever an email sends from command, it will send from a KW email address, like a default KW email that's like agent, KW agent with some numbers at kw.com. However, when they reply to that email, this is what you're saying. Where does that go to? Right. So anytime they click reply, they would see that email address pop up in their, the to field to respond back to. And lastly, here on the bottom, just notating that there are 5,000 emails that you can send for free each month, which depending on the size of your database, I would recommend, and we'll talk about the strategies here, right? 1 to 2 emails sent per month. So if you have, 2,000 email or 2,000 contacts, right, that would be fine. You can absolutely upgrade your email send if you need to send more than 5,000. But I might recommend starting with that 5,000 because it's free. All right, so you can X out of that. If you did make any changes, just make sure to click Save Changes. However, if you didn't make any changes, you can just X out, nothing to save. All right, and so now let's talk about those email strategies for these monthly newsletters, and then we'll get into actually designing them. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about what those strategies look like. How frequently should you be emailing them, right? An effective, why email is such an effective marketing strategy, most direct way to get in front of your sphere, right? Come right to their inbox. The return on investment for email marketing is $38 to every $1 spent. And even better, this is free, right? So, this is one of the highest ROI channels you can use for marketing. So outside of that, I know I've had an agent come in and he told me he was calling people for 9 hours a day and he was getting burnt out and there was nothing automatic going on in the back end, right? That's what we want to establish so you guys can go out there and do what it is you do best. You network, you call, right? This isn't to replace any of that. That is to add an additional touch to them and for branding purposes. Even if they do not open your email and they just see your name in their inbox with something correlated to real estate, well, guess what you just did? You reminded them that you're in real estate, right? So that is a very powerful touch that we want to use either 1 to 2 times a month is a recommendation for not unsubscribing, right? Too many emails, and a lot of agents will be concerned about that, which I feel that very much. And that more looks like 2 emails a week would be too much. Even 1 a week is, in my personal opinion, you're going to get more unsubscribers the more frequently you send. So 2 emails a month are that sweet spot about every 2 weeks. However, you can play with that, of course. Now, we'll talk about what to send in each one of those because through researching best strategies of email, what I found is they don't care. So let's say you have a call to action newsletter where you tell them about, here are all my listings I have, here are the market stats. Let me know if you're interested in looking to buy or sell. That is a call to action newsletter is something that you should have in your business. We'll talk about that. However, what people don't care about is that email if you're not providing them with another source of value. So why the recommendation is 2 emails a month. The first one is a value add email. It's not selling yourself. It's not telling them to give you referrals. The first one is providing them value. So depending on the month, I have it kind of planned out for the next month. All right, so this month we did, it's National Coffee Day this month. So we did top 3 coffee shops in Charlotte, right? That's something valuable for them. Or last month we did top back to school events in Charlotte, things like that. Next month, top pumpkin patches to go to in Charlotte, right? That's entertainment, that's value they care about. So we combine, we do something entertaining and then something educational. So the educational part, I recommend videos, we'll talk about that, but even just writing, right? And I'll talk about both ways. Go ahead and write down the website address, answerthepublic.com. Answerthepublic.com tells me the most Googled real estate questions of the month in real estate. Answerthepublic.com. I'll show you what it looks like, this one. So answerthepublic.com. Scroll down slightly and put in real estate. And click search. Okay. Now we're talking about, if it gives you this little prompt, you can X out. Oh. Hold on one sec, this isn't usually what I get. I wonder if someone else is using this. So it is free. You don't have to pay for an account, but it looks like it's maybe remembering that someone else searched you. On the ID? Oh, the IP address? Right, if someone else, because what, you can do like 5 streets per day. What, someone was in here doing 5? Anyway, did you guys, are you able to pull it up? Oh, yeah. Just for all of us, so that's, I see. So, right, especially if you remove the Wi-Fi. Yeah. Okay, so what he's saying is it's saying we've already searched 5 a day. Well, it's doing that based on the internet because we're all, like, all these agents are connected to the same internet. So that's why it thinks that we already have. If you try on your phone and disconnect your phone from the internet, that would work. Or just do it at home and it'll work. But basically what would happen, and still write this down. It's one of the best things we've found. Answerthepublic.com. Search real estate. It shows me what are the top Googled real estate questions of the month as of September 20th. So why that's powerful for a couple reasons. A, that's probably what your client base is wondering, right? So that gives you a good idea. Is this seller's market? Is it still a good time to sell, et cetera? But also B, so if you were to take that and put that verbiage you wrote on your website as a blog, right? Since people are searching that on Google, that's why your website would show up. Second, if you want to be even more next level, and I'll give you tips for this, create a quick video, 60-second video. Google owns YouTube. So if you were to create a 60-second video, just answering, here's the top Googled question in real estate. Well, since again, Google owns YouTube, they push YouTube videos to the top of the search. You'll always see YouTube videos at the top. So if you literally make the content of, what people are searching, that's how you get up on the top, right? And, we can talk about best practices for video because I know anytime I mention video, I visibly see, people cringe. But there are some easy best practices. There are practices that you don't even have to talk, right? I've built up a following of 25,000 followers and I don't talk in my videos. So I've explored all of those strategies. And if you want like opinions on best practices, make an appointment. We can talk through that. It is the most powerful thing you can do in marketing right now. So that short form video, it's the most annoying thing that you'll probably be put for marketing, but also the most powerful because it puts you exposure wise in front of a whole audience that you otherwise wouldn't be in front of. Videos get shown to not just your friends on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, they get shown to anyone with that interest, right? So it's free exposure for you. And I know I could keep talking forever on this, but make an appointment if you're interested in implementing video in your business. I'll tell you how to do it in a very reasonable way. I know this is not your main part of your business is not making videos. So we don't want to be spending 8 hours a day making videos. It's a waste of your time. How can we make 3 videos that take 15 minutes each, schedule them for the week, and then you're done, right? Those kind of things. Anyway, let me know as I can help you with the videos, okay? But for this class, so the idea is either you could email out that video as that educational piece, or you can just write it, right? You can have it written, and we'll focus on that for today's class. All right, so I'm going to go back to command. and we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'll let you in on the other best practices as we go along. So let's go ahead and dive into creating a newsletter in Command. So I am in Command, so agent.kw.com, in case you went off this page at all. And we're going to go to the Designs tab. So on the left-hand side menu, right, if you click the KW logo at the top left, it will pan this out so you can start to learn the navigation around Command. We're going to the Design section. Okay, and so this email I'm going to show you how to do. We're going to do that value add newsletter together. We're going to go ahead and make it. Okay, so we're doing something entertaining, educational, and then a soft call to action, more like here if you need me. Okay, and then I'll tell you the best practices for the call to action newsletter as well. So again, I'm in the design section of Command. I'm going to click create design on the top right. And then email. And this would be a noteworthy moment as well, how to get in to create an email design. And again, in Command, we click on the designs icon, right? It's the third from the bottom over here. It looks like a paintbrush on a canvas, so appropriate. And then click on create design on the top right. Email. Okay. And just a heads up, right? I mean, I'm sure all of these things really pique your interest. I have short 10-minute videos on how to do everything in Command. So if there's anything on here like, oh, I really wish I knew how to do, print material, if you can jot it down during class and shoot me an email. So this one, contact@juleahdesigns.com. Anything else you're interested about, or if I say something you want to know more about, and I have a 15-minute video on it, let me know. I'll send it right over to you. All right, so we're on email and click continue. So email and continue. And that'll take you to a bunch of different email designs that are already created. Now, a lot of these, especially for the newsletters, the content isn't there, right? And that's why agents will get discouraged when they see it. However, I'm going to show you some easy strategies on how we can easily add content without too much thought in it. However, just so you know, so if you scroll down and click load more, right, I'm going to go to the newsletter section. But I just want to bring to your attention, right, see all the ones around there, like chill your bills and, tax day, things like that. I mean, there's content already written as well. So if you do want to send out one of these, you absolutely can, right? And that's providing value for them. All right, but my idea for these value add emails is even if they're not looking to buy or sell right now, how can I still provide value for them? So I'm going to go ahead and select approachable newsletter A. They're pretty similar. And click next on the bottom, right? Scroll down and click load more or whatever. There's like a button at the bottom. And you do have to click load more to see the newsletter options. Okay. And as you guys are getting there, so the items that we are putting in here. So usually how I like to structure my newsletters is A at the top. Okay, so for the headline copy, what we're making the copy, I like to make it something like September in CLT, let's say. The reason I like to do that is it brings awareness to this is custom to September and custom to Charlotte. So this isn't just random stuff I'm reusing here. Okay. All right, and so for the first half of class until, we're going to focus on how to do this in Command, right? How it's created. For the second half of class, I will show you like how I'm doing this in Canva to make it kind of a next level newsletter. So if you feel like you really like technology and want to see that, I'll be showing you that next. However, you can absolutely just use Command how it is to send these newsletters. So I'm going to click, so to edit any text in here, all you do is simply click on the text box and then click this pencil icon. And it will open the text box over here. Now, what I like to do is I like to give them a summary at the top of what's going to be in this newsletter, okay? So you can orchestrate this however you like. If you'd like to do a 1, 2, 3, or you want to do bullet points, you can do either one. So let's say in this one, I want to put in top 3 coffee spots in Charlotte. Okay, the second thing I'm going to put is something educational. So we can come back there once we know, but another great place to get that content, and just watch on my screen if you don't mind so I don't lose you. But another great place to get, right, because we're going for we're going for an educational piece, right? keepingcurrentmatters.com. Okay, write this one down along with answerthepublic.com. keepingcurrentmatters.com, the real estate blog specifically on here, is golden for content. And the full URL is keepingcurrentmatters.com/blog if you just want to come straight here, or you can just click on real estate blog at the top. Okay, so usually what I do is I'll come here and I'll kind of scroll through which one do I like the most, or think that it's the most valuable, or I match it with Answer the Public, you know, what are they searching? Keeping Current Matters does a great job of having very current material. They post it very regularly. So let's say this is the topic I want to post about, okay? All right, so then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that in the subject line, or in the, as far as my top 3, are we in, is the real estate market slowing down, let's say. Yeah, hit me. Good question. I personally rewrite it. I paraphrase it. However, I still add the link. Also, however, other agents I know do straight copy and paste it and source keepingcurrentmatters.com. Why I rewrite it is I repurpose it for websites. And just so you know, if you copy and paste content to your website, it can permanently damage your SEO. I thought that was very alarming. So don't copy and paste to your, of course, this is a newsletter, so it's, you know, not going to do anything that crazy. But, you know, yes, the idea is try to put it in your own words. I would recommend. However, I know that takes more time, right? So I'll double check with Sabra about the compliance around that, so I can give you, like, just to make sure you're even allowed, because I do always source it. And I'll show you how. Yeah, absolutely. Great question. All right, and then now the third one here, I'm going to do like here if you need me. Okay. All right, okay, so and how we actually update that over here is, so after you type it in, you need to press done to even see that it updates. And that got me just for the longest time. So just so you know. All right, so anytime you edit text, you click the pencil icon, you edit it, and then click done for that to show up. You don't click save. That saves the whole thing, which is great too, but it does not update the text, okay? I've gone through that quite a bit. All right, so now let's add in a first image, okay? So on the right-hand side, you'll see some extra things that you can add in. I'm going to grab and pull an image over, and I want it to sit underneath this box. Okay, so you can see when I was dragging it over, it put a green line, right? When I was dragging that. So you can see where it's placing it, right? So you can see the green line here, right? Where it's placing it, where I want that to sit, right? So I don't really want it to be side, but you could, or you can put it underneath. Okay. All right, so as far as what image that we're going to use for this. All right, so let's talk about images you're allowed to use in your marketing. Let's pull up a new tab, or you can just write this down and look on my screen, and pixabay.com. Let me make sure that's right. I get it. Yeah, pixabay.com, right? Because you cannot just go to Google and download any image and use it in your marketing, right? An agent actually did that here one time, and the image was owned by National Geographic. She was told to take down the image and pay an $800 fine. So that was rough. Yeah. That's what I do too. So this is really a workaround for if you don't have Pro. Great question. Like to find other images. I think they actually like link to these kind of sites because I see a lot of them. Anyway, so for pixabay.com, then you can come in here and search real estate or homes, luxury kitchen, right? What do you want it to have, right? And they're really nice images. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'll click on one that I like. Right, and you don't have to have images in your newsletter. However, I will say that it makes them way more effective and it's eye-catching, right? All right, so I'm just opening up one of these pictures I like, and you'll see the free download option on the right-hand side. So again, that's pixabay.com. I would definitely write that down. This house, me too. That's a good one. Yeah. No, please. Mhm. 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 Yes, you absolutely can. Yeah, you can use your own pictures. You can use, I've cleared this through Sabre. You can go take pictures like with your cell phone of like communities or other houses even, and you're allowed to use that on your marketing as long as you took the picture. That's really what it comes down to, or paid for it. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we have this image here, and I'm going to go ahead and switch back to command, right? So I'm doing a little bit of switching because we switch tabs. I usually have a tab to get the content I need, right? And then the tab open to now build it all together. The not overly big, but I know that's not a number. I would say medium because a couple reasons. So first of all, I started doing this sending the highest quality. And first of all, it took forever. Like I would pull up the email and it would do like the, you'd see it load one by one. So lower quality there for sharing. And two, just in general, the bigger the images in there, the more likely it'll go to spam too. Like if that's all. So I would say like medium should be good, and you can always send it to yourself to make sure. But is that an option? Medium option? Okay, pick the medium number, the middle one. Like if I was on Pixabay, like I usually do what it defaults on, I think. Yeah, I usually just leave it. Okay, great. This is helpful. Yeah, one of the kilobytes is great. Right, the megabytes is obviously this next step up. So anything in kilobytes, I would go with this one. That's usually the file size when I add. Great question, thank you. Hello. All right, guys. So I'm switching back to command here, right? So what I've done so far is now I added the image, right? I dragged and dropped the image in with that green line. And so now it puts this little placeholder so I can click the pencil icon to edit it. So pencil icon here. And this right here is where I can put in that image. So I'll click replace. At the top, we'll see add images. So I can drag and drop it in, or I can, pull it from my computer. All right, so you can click to browse, or you can drag and drop it in. And then you need to actually click on the preview at the bottom, so that'll give you the option to replace. All right, so we still see it here until we click done, just a heads up. But one more thing that is a good tool to use, you can link it somewhere. So if you want to link that to a website, when they click on the image, it goes to your website, you absolutely can. So you can link it to your web address and put in your KW. Right here. So when I click done, that's when I actually see it update on the piece. Just a heads up, and just a reminder, save's not what does it. Done is what does it. And now we need to make it bigger. So I'll simply click on it to get these little guys on the outside so I can expand that. Okay, but for this one, right, since I was doing 3 coffee shops in Charlotte, maybe at that point, right, I would search, and that's what I already did. I searched in Pixabay a picture of a coffee cup. So if you want to do the same process here on Pixabay and search coffee, right, because the first topic is 3 of the top coffee shops in Charlotte, right? So what I'm going to do, I'll take that and I'm going to use this picture of coffee. I already put it in here earlier, but if you would like to do that as well, feel free to just find a picture of coffee on Pixabay and use that instead. All right, and so now we're adding in the text. What are the 3 top coffee shops? All right, so I'm going to take this text, drag it over, and drop it. So I'll click on it, right, to pull this up over here, and I'm going to write 3 top Charlotte coffee spots. And if you want to do like other than Starbucks, you can. And then now, well, since I have to get back into it anyway, now let's look up what are the top 3 coffee shops, right? And you can really just pick one of them, right? So then you can just name like the top 3 on this list. Like what we did is named it, and the address. If you want to do something they specialize in, you absolutely can, right? But that's what we're doing. We're just grabbing content that we think is interesting and putting it in there for that value add. I have to get back in. Any questions so far? Is this making sense? Do you think this is something that you're going to be able to implement in your business? I know the hardest part is getting the content to centralize it. So, when you're creating these newsletters, having mentally, okay, what are those 3 topics that I'm going to put in the newsletter, and then pulling up those resources first, so then I can just centralize it all there. That tends to make your life much easier, right? So you find the resources, build, implement it all in here. All right, so we have those 3 coffee shops. So then I could go ahead and write those in. So that's just in the text box here. So now I'm going to go ahead and write those top 3 coffee shops. So that is Water Bean Coffee, Melly Cat Cafe. Have you guys been there? It's a fun name. And is Phoebe from Friends singing there? I need to know. And then I think it was Undercurrent Coffee Shop. Right. And, providing them with something valuable, like where it is, might be helpful, right? So maybe the address under it, and then again we click done. And you can absolutely update. There's not much when it comes to font here, but you can, let's say, if you want to put a header in, top 3 Charlotte coffee spots, then you can make this a header, right? Or you can make it rather a little bigger so it sticks out. So, I mean, the editing platform's a little basic, right? But you can, center things, bold it, etc. Okay. So then now if you want to write an educational piece under there, or even better, let's say you recorded a video of yourself explaining the top answer or asked real estate question, right? So just in general, how that would look, you can take it on your phone. And if it's YouTube, just do it this way, right? And then if you have the YouTube app on your phone, to upload a video on there, you just simply click the plus sign on the bottom of YouTube. There's a plus sign right here. And then it just pulls up to upload a video, and just pulls from your phone the video that you just took, like this, right? So it's not as scary as it may sound, but once you have that on YouTube, that's when you can pull the video onto your email newsletter, okay? So I'm going to show you what that looks like. And if you don't do a video, you can always, KW comes out with a lot of really great videos as well. So I'm going to pull up in a separate tab. Hey, how's it going? I'm going to pull up YouTube in a separate tab. Okay, the idea is for you to do the video, right? To share the information. The reason video is also really powerful is, if you watch, let's say, Friends, all 10 seasons, right? But by the end of it, you feel like you have a relationship or a friendship with those characters, right? You built up this confidence, right? They feel like they trust you from those videos. So that is the goal. However, in the meantime, if you search Keller Williams Real Estate, there's a bunch of good, produced by Keller Williams Realty. You can even click on that to see their whole channel, right? But how that would look is I can open up the video. Okay. And let's say I decide I want to use this video. All I'm going to do is you can just copy this URL up here, or you can click share. So I'm just going to copy this URL. So I'll click it on the top bar, right? That URL. I'll right click to copy it. So you click first to highlight it. It needs to all be highlighted first. So if that takes a double click to do it, great. Right click to copy. All right. So now I'm going back to command. Okay, so I'm switching tabs. I'm now going to put in that video here. So I'll click this pencil icon here to put in that video. Now, from what I've seen, the thumbnail doesn't come over. I don't know if anyone's seen differently, but if that is the case, you can just click replace right here to put another image over it, right? And then click done. So if that's a house that you just put over it, that's fine too. But you'll see, right, there's a little play button here. So it would start playing that video. Questions on videos? I know that is really next step, and it might feel a little overwhelming to think about video. Okay, but please know, if you don't want to do a video, you absolutely don't have to. In that case, instead of putting a video there, I would just put a text box and I would write out what I thought about if it's going to be a seller's market or not, right? Exactly. You're exactly right. So you add the piece first over here. So are you adding text? Are you going to write about is this seller's market? Or are you going to add an image, right? Or video for that matter, right? That's the first step. You'll grab what you want to create, and then it will prompt you to, add the image and you can also do a button. I just want to point out because I do like the button feature as well. So that's what this is here. So if you wanted to put a button on the bottom that said, find out what your home is worth, or click here to make for a free consultation, right? And then you could link that to Calendly. If you guys haven't created a Calendly account yet, it's a pretty good one to do. It's free. And it just makes, you guys have probably signed up for Tech Appointment with me, so you've seen how that's Calendly, right? It just makes it really easy. I don't have to go back and forth to try and figure out what day works, what's best. They can just pick right from there. And I often encourages them to make that appointment since it's so easy from here. So if you do create a Calendly account and that looks like Google, create a Calendly account, I'll walk you through it. It's pretty easy. But if you need any help, happy to help you. And that can be like a goal for the next week. Feel free to make an appointment. And then you could come in here and then link this button to my Calendly, to your Calendly link. So like consultation. So that's what I want the button to say. And I'm going to go ahead and link it to my Calendly. Let's say. And it does have to start with HTTPS. Time. Because a shortcut to delete an entire sentence is holding shift and then delete, and they'll delete the whole sentence and not just the word or letter. But it also will apparently take me out of this. So, all right, guys. So now that you have those in there, and any other questions on building this before we move on to sending it? Okay. So we feel comfortable with, you add a photo, you go get the photo, right? You add a video block, you add a text box, and then you need to go build it. All right, so let's save it on the top left. So go ahead and save it. You need to name it. Sorry, is what I meant. Name it. Let's say September newsletter. I'm going to pull up another one that I already have so you can get a better idea. Okay, so if you want to name that September value add on the top right, whatever it may be, you can also see different things on the left-hand side, like how it looks on a computer or a mobile app. And you can also options on the top right, preview. Okay, so I like to do that to see exactly, because there's a lot of merge tags, like what this is. This automatically pulls in from your command marketing profile, the KW Valentine logo. If you scroll down and see any other sections with merge tags, they'll typically be on the bottom. That means it's going to pull in from the command marketing profile. That's where we started class, all that information here. So you can see why it's valuable to have all of that up to date. Right? So if you want to go ahead and send yourself a test email, I would recommend it always. Send yourself a test email. It just goes right to your inbox. So you can see what that looks like. And then after you click save, we can go ahead and X out. They'll ask you again if you want to save the changes, so you can click save or discard. So to give you an idea of, right, because I mentioned, and so here's one that I was playing with earlier as far as how that September newsletter would end up looking, right? We have the overview here, top 3 coffee shops. So that is an entertainment piece, right? Something they are interested in. And then the second one is that educational piece, right? Okay, so that's for the value add email. Let's talk about the call to action newsletter as far as what content I would recommend going in there. So call to action newsletters, the market stats come out, like there's an infographic that Canopy launches around the 15th of every month for the stats from the previous month. So it's in SAM, and it gives you an infographic with smart talking points too that you can copy and paste from because Canopy provided you with that. If you're not, I don't have access. My mom's a realtor, so I log in illegally into hers, so I can't show you it is my point. But if you have questions on how that process works, getting into SAM and pulling that infographic, shoot me an email. I'll send you steps. And it's already done for you. And this is content that would be okay to copy and paste in that regard. Okay. Yep. It's SAM, and the infographic's already created, and it shows all the market stats for the Charlotte region. So it's very cool. Here, I have an example, actually. Let me show you what it looks like. So this is an example of like the value add email that we just did through Canva, right? So you can see Canva, and this is what I'm going to show you next. See what, I mean, you can do everything in any font you want and totally make it customizable look-wise, right, in Canva. So I'll show you that next. That's for the more advanced side. But I just wanted to show you that infographic real quick. This. That is something that Canopy makes, like the 15th that week, every month. And you can just save it to your computer and use it everywhere. And under it, it's like it says smart talking points. And it's just like a PDF of things that you can talk about, you know, about the market stats that they provide you a script, and or just copy and paste into an email. All right, so call to action newsletter, and this is actually one of them, so it gives you an idea. So we have the market stats. Something you're doing in the community is a great second one, okay? If you are passionate about something certain or you volunteer, great. People like to work with people who care, right? And so, and showing that you come from contribution. Okay, but let's say you are too damn busy. You are starting a business in real estate, trying to keep your, you know, yourself alive here. Okay, in that case, KW Cares is the, right, the organization that KW has. And you can donate $10 of each commission or whatever you want to do to KW Cares. And then you are making that donation and contributing to KW Cares. So you can use KW Cares as that impact that you're making on the community, right? So I think I found it on, so I'm just on kwcares.org. So you can like look around on here for ideas, right? The idea is that you're coming from contribution. You are helping in some way. So if you aren't doing anything, that's fine. Maybe mention KW Cares. What is KW Cares? And that you are contributing and why it's important to you. And if you haven't gotten a chance to really read through KW Cares, it is really powerful. I mean, it is really a true indication of our culture here and how much, you know, we really want to help people. So KW Cares is a great one. Or if you volunteer at a local shelter, awesome, right? Those kind of things. Then 3, if you have listings or any sales this month, right? Like a listing dump or about your business, something you're doing in your business. And then last is a call to action. So it is important that you give them a solid call to action. And that is, how do they give you business? And I know, like, the longest time I was like, wow, well, the call to action just sounds kind of salesy. Is it really necessary? Yes, because, and I thought this was so, well, can't they just reply to the email with a referral? But without telling them to reply to the email, if you have a referral kind of deal, right? That's what gets them to actually reply. Otherwise, they're like, well, I kind of know someone, but what do I do with that? I mean, it seems obvious, but I want you to give them exact steps. Email you, call you, text you. What is it? What do you want them to do? Email might be easiest for them, but okay. So again, for the value add email, I'm going to say what I recommend for the content for both of these emails one last time. And I'll try to share this in notes too. But this is value add email, right? Email 1 as an entertaining piece, education piece, and tell them, hey, I'm here if you need me, like a soft call to action. The second newsletter of the month is your call to action newsletter that's focused on your business, right? What are the market stats? What is something that you're doing to contribute? What's going on in your business here? What does your listings look like? Or just that you're learning, or maybe you're getting a new certification you're taking at Superior. Let's talk about your business right there and how it's growing. And then 3rd, listings, if you have those, or any sales of the month. And then 4th, that's a solid call to action. How did they give you the referrals? All right. So now if you are, technology isn't your best friend and you feel comfortable with what this is so far, great. That's how you go ahead and create a newsletter. I'm going to show you how to send it out next. And then we'll take a quick break. And if you would like to watch how I create them in Canva instead, it just really gives it that like next level feel. So if you want to know how I do that, I'll be teaching that the second half. But to wrap up this, I'm just going to now show you how to send this newsletter, and then we'll take a little break. All right, so make sure if you haven't already, right, we name it on the top left and click save. I'm going to X out the top right, because sending it is somewhere separate. So what we've done so far is we've created that design. So to send out a one-time email, campaigns are generally the best place to do that. So campaigns. Now, if you've probably heard about smart plans and campaigns. They're both in command. I want to explain the difference because they're both ways to email. So smart plans, okay, that's not what we're talking about today. Smart plans are great. They're more for automating your systems. So you'll see where my mouse is here. That's smart plans. I do have a video on that. Shoot me an email if you want to know more. That's about automating your system. So giving yourself automated to-do lists, automated call reminders to remind you when a birthday is, right? Or you can send emails. They're just also duration based. So if you add contacts to them, so you could set up, let's say, 3 emails to send in a smart plan. Each one 8 days later, right? So I'm not saying that I want it to send on, October 1st. I am saying it's going to send 3 days after the contact is added, right? Versus if you're just wanting to send a one-off email or you're wanting to schedule the email on a specific date, that's where campaigns, and that's what we're talking about now, really comes into play. Okay. So main thing you need to take away from that is if you're trying to create several emails in a row, right, to go out 8 days after one another, 30 days, whatever the case may be, smart plans. That's what you want. And I have a video. Shoot me an email and I'll give it to you. However, if you are sending a one-off email, we're going to campaign. And you'll see there are other things in this campaign section. This is where we start Facebook ads, right? It's also where we do our emails. You can do direct mail campaigns and you can schedule social posts out, right? So of course, for today's class, we are focusing on emails. So let's go ahead and click that. All right, so emails at the top, and I am in the campaign section. It's the megaphone icon on the left-hand side, emails. Okay, so first what we need to do is make an email list. Okay, so on the right-hand side, you'll see the option for email lists. So I'm going to click on that. And I will tell you that, so I'm going to show you how to, we're going to create an email list for all of your contacts so you can send it out to all of your contacts. However, best practices for email marketing or any marketing is to start tagging your contacts, right? Categorizing your contacts. Of course, if you send a buyer specific email out and you send to your whole database, it's going to be a lot less effective than if you send it to just your group named buyers in there. Now, I think this is a good long-term goal for you guys because I will be really impressed if you guys send 1 to 2 emails to your entire database. I think that should be your starting goal. Long-term, once you feel like you have this down a little bit, you can start to segmentize or whatever your database so that your buyers are together, sellers, so you can really increase the effectiveness of what you are sending. Okay. For now, though, we're going to come in here and you always have to create a list, even if you want to send it to all of your contacts. So I'll click on Create List on the right-hand side. I wonder if you're on the team. Are you on the team side? I wonder if your permission, are you logged in as Charlene or me? Well, you should have all the permissions. Let me come look at it in a second. So you guys can start doing this. Okay, a little funky. You'll see select all, right? Because I'm wanting you to add all of your contacts on there. You don't have any contacts in command. Well, this will be easy for you. But we want to select all. It only selects 100 at a time, though, if you don't scroll down and load it first. So this is weird. This is a workaround. Okay, what I did is click Create List. What I need to do first before clicking Select All is I need to scroll to the very bottom of the list and click Load More and do that a few times to get all of them. So that's probably the silliest part of this process, right? And this is something command will undoubtedly change moving forward. We put in tickets that, this isn't the easiest way to do that. However, just so you know, if you do want to get all of your contacts on there, you need to keep scrolling down and click Load More before you click Select All for it to actually select all your contacts. So kind of a pain. You only have to do it once though, and if you just know it, then it makes your life less painful. All right, so let's say I'll name the list All Contacts. And I like to put a date when I created this, so I know, that was all contacts as of September 20th. And we'll click Confirm. Just for future reference, like we talked about how you can really segment out your email list more, based on open house leads or buyers, sellers. If that is the case, just a heads up, when you're creating the list, you can also search by tags, and I'll show you how to create tags in your database. However, you can also search by tags. So let's say you went through your database and you already tagged your clients with buyer or seller. Great. You can simply come in here and click the buyer tag, and it will only make those contacts show up. So it wouldn't be quite as many to add. All right, so again, in the campaign section, we created that email list. So now I can send the email. So I'm going to come up to the email section again. So on that white toolbar, emails. All right, and this is the home stretch. This is it. This is where we send it. So I'm going to click on Create Campaign on the top right. And email. Create campaign, email. We name it. They don't see that, you do. So if you want to name this September ad or just September in CLT, that works too. For the goal, brand awareness would be fine. And we are selecting that command email. It's already there. And you can click Create Campaign. All right, so now we've done all the legwork. We just need to piece it together, really the two things. So first of all, okay, this is all good. Send to the recipient list. Great, we just made that. Okay, so you can click at that all contacts. You can create lists from here and edit your list, just a heads up. And lastly, I'm just going to put in a subject line. So maybe this one is, so let's talk about subject line strategies real quick, actually, because I just learned, I thought that it's like a title. All the letters should be capitalized, right? Like the first letter of each word should be capitalized. However, that decreases open rates because people think of that as like a default thing that you're sending to everyone, versus if you make it more conversational and only make the first letter capitalized. Like, have you seen the Charlotte stats this month in real estate kind of deal with question mark and only capitalizing that first letter? That conversation makes them feel like you just sent it to them, right? So, and especially like, is this like, let's say, is Charlotte in a buyer or seller's market? Obviously you want, whatever it is, you want that content to be in your actual newsletter. And now we're going to click Select Design. So we're just selecting it. We already did it. So I click Select Design. I just simply select the draft, right? It's going to pull up my templates. This is the draft I have going. So I'll click on that. It does have me review it. So if you want to make any changes, you absolutely can. You can also, send a test email, which I always recommend. I'll do it so you guys can see it, actually. Send test email, and now we're going to click Save. So now the final step is we click to send it off. So after we click Save, so I'll X out of it on the top. It does want you to X out so you can get back. And so this is what your email is going to look like. And you can click Send on the top right. Or for right now, you can click Save Draft. But just a heads up, you can even schedule it. So let's say, okay, I don't want this to go out, especially if it has anything to do with the holiday, right? If you want to schedule it on a certain future date, you can schedule the campaign anywhere from 2 hours to 12 months from now. So if you schedule that for tomorrow, you absolutely can at a specific time. I really like that because open rates tend to, if you want to know the best time to send an email, is typically Tuesday through Thursday. Monday is pretty good too, and around 11 a.m. because that's when people are kind of done with their, like they get in the office, they do their like time sensitive stuff, and then they kind of take a break, right? Or they check their personal stuff. It's a good time to post on social media around 11 o'clock as well, a.m. And around like right after lunch is another good time. So like 1 to 2 p.m. Times to avoid is rush hour and weekends, actually. Sending emails, reason being, people really check their personal email even at work. And if you send it, let's say Friday at 6 p.m., well, then you had the whole weekend for all these, emails to push yours to the bottom. So that's why I would recommend not doing it Friday through Sunday for most effective open rate. All right, any other questions on this so far? Let me see any other strategies I can tell you guys. Oh, and if it's your first time sending an email to your clients, putting at the top what they can expect from these emails is another good thing. Like, hey, I just wanted to, well, I'll be sending over market stats, Charlotte market stats, things to do in Charlotte. If you'd like to add my email to make sure those come through to you. And it just gives them a heads up, like, okay, they're not just spamming or marketing, right? So that welcome email, according to the stats, it makes 33% more subscribers stay if you include some sort of welcome email or like message, you know, just letting them know. Yeah. Good question. Then they're taken off. So if they unsubscribe from one of these emails, the system automatically will not put them back on another, like even if you try to add them to a next email, because you don't remember, system remembers, won't send it to them. Now, if they are unsubscribing from a smart plan, just a heads up, it'll give them the option to unsubscribe from just this one or all of them. So just because like if someone unsubscribes to one of your smart plans, that doesn't necessarily mean they unsubscribe from everything. But again, the system knows that you don't have to remember it. Yeah. And, you know, so if anyone contacts you like, hey, please stop emailing me, just let them know they can unsubscribe, you know, and they can do that, or you can create a list that's unsubscribed, but let them know they can just unsubscribe on the very bottom. They usually can. It doesn't like send you a notification or anything, but I think in the email stats here, let me see. Let me go to an account that I actually use for business. I know it. Okay, I'll show you the stat. And yeah, if you guys need to leave, feel free. I'm just going to show you what the stats look like too, so you can analyze your email analytics to see what you can do different next time. All right. So it'll show your analytics for each email sent in that same email section, right? So you'll see right here, campaigns, emails, right? This shows me, okay, how many were sent, how many opened, how many clicks. I think it shows though more analytics as well. Yeah, a little more in depth. So I might have to send you more information on that though. Yeah, I'll see what I can find too. So just a heads up, where I go when I'm like questioning something about the KW technology that I feel uncertain about, answers.kw.com, just a heads up, is generated by KWRI. And they put, it's just screenshots and step-by-step on everything. So for example, what were we even looking at? Oh, email analytics, for example. Let's see if we can, right? If I search different things like that, right? It'll, you know, it gives you based on what you're searching, facts that you're really interested about, like how do they resubscribe to KW emails, right? Different things like that. So answers.kw.com is a good thing to have bookmarked. Yeah, I'll have to get back to you because I've seen the unsubscribe rate. I must just be like in this wrong section. Let me look up unsubscribe. Track your command email engagement. Looks promising. Goals. So this is, I think this might be more of like an overarching look, but it's talking about in reports. Let's see if it shows unsubscribed. So in reports, it'll show your analytics for these. So this is what we're going to look at. And let's see, there is unsubscribes. Let's see if we can see the whole list too of unsubscribes. Yeah. So how you would see the list of unsubscribed people is you would come over to the report section, emails, and then under unsubscribed, you could click on view details and it would show you the list of like who clicked on it, right? Because opening it is different than clicking on it. The clicked would be they clicked on something in the email itself. So that shows you that they were actually really interested. They're not just, you know, marking it unread to get out of their inbox too. So that's a great thing to look at. Who's clicking, and you can see who replied to, unsubscribed. Good question. Anyone else? Good question. So when it comes down to it, it is up to the recipient's inbox if it's marked as spam. There are best practices that you can do. However, to a certain extent, you can't control it completely. So, but these are the things you can do. So the less large images in the file, the better. Now, it's a fine line. I recommend using images in the newsletters, 10 times more eye-catching. Just kind of balance that out. Make sure you have text in there as well, for example. Another way to avoid spam is, so in that welcome email that we kind of, or just a welcome text, encouraging them to add this email to their address book will make sure that it always comes to them, right? Also, you're right, the bulk that you're sending in also tells the system if it's, now what is that sweet spot number is a good question. I'll have to look back into it. I think you'd be fine with like 500 at a time, but because of that, maybe sending it in smaller increments might be more beneficial. I'll have to do more research on what that prime number is. I'm not sure it is an exact quantitative amount, but 2,000, of course, because it's triggering individual inboxes, right? So back to you. So if Yahoo thinks it's a spam, but you're right that also if it thinks it's spam one time, so if you are kind of like pushing it, well, then it'll probably mark it as spam all the other times too. So taking a little more time and sending it to like 500 people a pop might be worth it long term because you're not getting into spam. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, so this is where, though, just naturally segmenting your list as opposed to sending it to all, because like if you had 5,000 contacts, probably, let's say 1,000 of them are buyers. They're a much smaller percentage, right? So then that would actually probably do it for you, segment down your database if you do it more by their niche anyway, right? And then you can send it to them based on that tag, that niche. And if it is one that you're sending out to everyone, well, great. Well, even still sending it by niche. And I'm not talking about like, 30 different niches. I'm talking about like buyers, sellers, open houses, Mets, non-Mets kind of deal, It does. Right. It really is. And let me show you real quick how you do tag your contacts, because that is something I wanted to share with you guys. So on the contacts tab on the left-hand side, how you go about tagging your contacts is, first of all, depending on how many you want to tag, my account, you can actually, so it'll default on only showing you 10 at a time, but you can make it so that it'll show you up to 500 at a time so that you can bulk tag them that way. Sorry. So first step I would recommend, so in the contacts section of your database, and this is one of the probably the most tedious things that you can do, but one of the most effective things you can do for your marketing is start tagging your contacts. So contact section. So first of all, again, it defaults to showing 1 through 10. All right, but like if I were to select all of these and move to the next page, it doesn't keep them all checked. So let's say I switch this to show 1 of 100 or 1 of 500, right? Whichever. So now I can tag in bulk either, right? I could select all by clicking that box on the top, and I'll select all. Okay. Or you can select one at a time. So select these on the left-hand side, let's say. Either way, once you select one of these checkboxes, that makes this bulk action dropdown show up. So you won't see that at all until you click a dropdown. See, or I mean, a checkbox rather. So the dropdown's not even there until you click a checkbox. Now I can come in and click select bulk action to add tags. And you can even create the tag from here, but if that's buyer, right? Or seller, Mets, non-Mets, right? You can go ahead and add that here and then click create tag and pick the color of that tag. All right, and once you click create tag, you will need to refresh your page to see the tags actually apply, right? But that would be one of those things that's good to start working on, and you can filter your contacts by other things too. So, if you want to filter your contacts first to then apply the tag, like if you want to filter like the lead source of the contact or leads only, right? This filters button will allow you to control which contacts are showing here. So you can bulk tag all of the contacts, let's say that doesn't have the app branded to you. Good question. Unfortunately, no. So this tags them, and then though when you go to send the email from the campaign section, it wants you to create an email list. So like it makes it super easy. Like I'll show you now. Let's say I went through and I tagged them buyers, right? So now when I go back to campaigns, right, because this is where we sent that email, and we sent the email, right? You can either add that email list right here, or if you're just creating the campaign, right, it gives you that option as you go through. So if I click create campaign on the top right to select that email option. And also I can send you a steps on how to create these lists as well. It is an extra step that I hopefully will be taken out one time. But where it says right here, send to recipient list here. So you can view the existing recipient list, or you can click on edit to edit one of your existing, or click create list at this point. And so where it gets easier now that you've tagged them, you can search by tag. So then only the contacts that have like the buyer tag would show up so that you can just add all of them to an email list. So you're right, it is an extra step. Or no. If it catches you up or anything, just let me know, shoot me an email, and we'll work through it to get it straightened out. Any other questions on how this works? Okay, if you guys want to go get coffee, water, if you want to leave altogether, feel free. I am going to show you guys how I do it in Canva though, and bring it over. So if you did want it to look kind of that next level, because I mean, you can see in the newsletter and command, it's just kind of plain text, right? So if you do want to give it that extra flair, I'll show you what I do. And we'll meet back in, I think it's 2:17 around. So let's meet back at 2:25. This would search the channel only. So youtube.com/Scott Lorre Marketing. And then if you search in here, like if you want to learn more about, sending emails, right? You can type in the keyword and it'll pop up all the different, and there's me actually explaining probably this class exactly, right there. And then so you could watch it and follow along and pause it, which I love. Yeah, absolutely. And just shoot me an email if you have any other questions or, yeah, it's great meeting you. No worries. Yeah, I didn't actually cover this, so it wasn't you, because I don't really have access. So this is what I think. Let's go stats. how I do this in Canva. It is a bit of a, extra pain to make it that next level look. So this is not, of course, required. But if you would like to really, get your email marketing to be that next step. I have a Canva account. I have Pro personally, but you could do this with just a free Canva account. So if you go to canva.com, and if you don't already, go ahead and log into your Canva account. The cost a year. So it's like $10 a month for Pro, but you can absolutely use it without Pro. I mean, it's just what you get less of is templates and, free images and stuff. Oh yeah. I like that too. JuLeah design. But in the very least, I would recommend getting a free Canva account. Did it? Oh, that's interesting. I don't see any taxes. Oh. Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, the images are great. That alone. Sorry, I'm almost there. No, thanks. Well, I need that code. I hate these things. It's like I'm not a robot and I still can't do it. Okay. All right. Stop. Is it punking me? Like, what is happening? All right. No time to charm. Okay, so what I do to create these is so I'm just going to show you like what I've done and I'll walk you through how I did it. So, I plan this in my head before I start this, what are the 3 things that I want to include? And so what do I need to make like a prettier piece for, right? So this was how I made it for National Coffee Day. I know, I really want to go. If you go, please let me know. Yeah. I know, I'm very intrigued by that. So the idea is to do as little in Canva as possible because it is right that next extra step. However, if you open an email and this was the top of it versus like a plain text, you can see why even doing like the email header can really go a long way. Now, these pieces, the size wise, is I just use a Facebook post to create those. So if you want to create that too, you can come up to like the search in Canva. Mine's showing Facebook post, but if you just search Facebook post, should come up. Okay, so size wise, I use a Facebook post to get that nice square-ish size. So basically you are going into Canva and you are, searching a template, right? Facebook post to get the size first. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a blank one. But of course you can see there are a bunch of really cool templates in there that makes it so you don't have to recreate the wheel. I'm just going to show you my process here. So on the left-hand side, so I have this blank piece. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a background going, okay? So as far as what background I choose, I like to do a more minimalist background. I like whites to make it bright, and something to do with the house is always a plus. So I'm going to click on the photos on the left-hand side, and this is where it gives you the ability to search for photos, kind of like Pixabay. So if I search I like to search like white kitchen or white home, like, because I like the white aesthetic, right? I like how clean that looks. Do you have Canva Pro? Nice. Cool. Okay. Yeah, so interesting. Does anyone else have Canva basic version? Do you have the option for photos? Or is that only a Pro feature? She does not. Okay. No. Worst comes to worst, go to pixabay.com to grab a photo. But yeah, I thought there was too. Oh, there's more under there, right? The more dot. Do you have more? Okay. Oh. Cool. Thank you.
Okay. Oh,
Wonderful.
thank you.
Yeah,
Great.
for sure. And so if you search, I like to search the term white in there so I can get the aesthetic that I want. So if you want, I mean, you can do anything, white, or you can do windows, another good one. My goal when I'm finding this is more basic though, right? I don't want it to be a super busy background. So I'm going to try to find a white aesthetic that's not super busy to use as my background. Okay. Okay, so once you add the photo that you want, you can right click on the photo to set the image as the background. Okay, so you select the photo from the left-hand side. You'll pull it on your piece and you can right click to set image as background. Okay, now it's still a bit busy, right? So I usually add a white box over it so that my text will show up more. So what that looks like is press an R on your keyboard and it should pull up the rectangle. Oh, it's not on here. Oh yeah, there we go. Let me know if that doesn't work for you. If you just simply click R on your keyboard, it should pull up this rectangle. Okay. And isn't that cool? C does it for circle too, if you want to get extra excited. I know. There's no reason I get that excited about it. So I'm going to change this rectangle white and we're going to turn down the opacity so that you can see through it, but it's still, you know, it's not so much with the image with writing over it. So again, what I did is I pressed R to get this rectangle. Then make sure you have it clicked because then you can change the color up here. Okay. Of course, totally up to you. I'm doing white. What's cool too is I'll show you how you can take your logo in here and then it will pull up the color of your logo so you can easily match things to it. Which is awesome. So now I'm going to go ahead and pull the rectangle to the top left and stretch it all the way across. And I'm going to decrease or adjust the transparency. So on the top right, this box here, or little icon, this allows me to pull down the transparency so I can see the image in the back, but my text will pop. And we can adjust that further as we decide if it's enough, you know, with the text. Yeah, no worries. So do you have the rectangle on there? Cool. And then did you stretch it across the whole thing? Or no, not yet. Cool. Okay. So then select it and then click on this, the transparency icon on the top right. And depending on the size of your computer screen too, just like if you don't see certain things up here, like there should be 3 dots if it needs to overflow. So just look out for that. Okay, so now I'm going to add that first text box. So you can click T on your keyboard to add in a text box. Okay, and then let's say I would write top 3. Or let's do the, I'm sorry, I was going to do top 3 coffee shops, but let's instead do our summary. So in this top one, I would maybe have, okay, yeah, top 3. So I'm doing the summary, right? What 3 things are going to be in this? This is what we're making, okay? Because if you do nothing else in Canva, I might suggest this, since again, it's more eye-catching at, you know, when they open it. So top 3 coffee shops, let's say. In Charlotte. Okay, editing text in Canva is pretty easy. We'll come back to do more of this, okay? Because the first thing we want to do is really just add the text boxes, and then I'll show you how you can reformat them so they all look the same. So if you want to keep doing that, if you want to add text, because I'm going to add 3 of them, right? The other piece is, you know, is it a seller's market or whatever that educational piece would be. And you can also add text over here, just a heads up. So you can add text box here or just click the T on your keyboard. Let's say this one is how home ownership affects your net worth. All right, and then one more now here if you need me. Right, so what I'm making is a quick summary so they can see by looking at this one box. Bless you. What your email is going to be about. Here if you need me. Okay, so next thing we're going to do, and we're going to come back to this, okay, to adjust so that we can make a different font, make it bigger, etc. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is add your logo. the top center. So depending on where you have your logo, or if you just want to do a KW logo, right? You can upload things. There's also a logo section that I can just upload right here. So I can go upload files and I can search for, from my computer, what my logo is. I'll just grab one here. And we're going to put it on the top center of the screen. Okay, if you have a personal logo, you can have that as well. Just remember, if you have a personal logo, the Keller Williams Valentine logo has to be there with it. Okay, so after I've added my logo here, right, I have those icons, which I really like. I'm going to show you how to add these icons over it, right, and these bars. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to go into elements on the left-hand side. And this is where you can get stickers, like elements, backgrounds, shapes, lines, frames. So if you come into elements and search coffee icon, right? Because I'm not looking for like a picture of coffee. I'm looking for an icon. I can click to add it in. I can change the color to match my brand colors. So you'll see that now that I added in the logo, right? See how this is pulling the color scheme from this logo? This is pulling the color scheme from the photo, right? So you can really coordinate your colors on the piece. I like. Oh, yeah. So that can be downloaded on mykw.kw.com. Walk you through that real quick. So where you would go, so just pause if, or you can keep working. So where you would go download all the Market Center logos is mykw.kw.com, the platform that's retiring, but it is where the logos sit still. And then we'll come to marketing. On the top black toolbar is marketing, logos and branding. And then there's a search bar about halfway down this screen. Right here. So you'll search the Market Center number. And then if you click that download option on the far right here, it'll download a zip file to your computer, and it'll be every single KW Valentine logo you can imagine, like in different colors, transparent, non-transparent, etc. And that's a good thing I have that like on my desktop because I get it. I use it every day. All right, so that's how you get the logo to pull that over, or if you have a personal logo, of course, you can use that too. And right now we're adding in these logos. So first I'm going to put, whatever the topic is, kind of try to find an icon. Right, so maybe I want a home icon for the next one. Okay, right, I'm adding it. I'm adjusting the color up here. So usually the icons you can adjust to whatever your branding colors are, which I really like. And we resize. And please let me know if you want to see something more in depth, because I absolutely know I'm going pretty fast on this. And when we meet too, if you want to make an appointment, I'd be happy to show you Canva more in depth as well. So please just let me know. All right, and then last one here, if you need me, maybe like a phone icon, email icon, whatever the case might be. And we want it red. All right, guys, so a couple more tips and we're done with this. So first of all, now we want this to be a different, we want this to be a little bigger, and we want to add a title. So let's add a title in a different font, maybe a cursive, right? So you can add text by either clicking text on the left-hand side or, clicking T on your keyboard. And this is where I might name it September. And if I want to make this a different font, right, there's a million fonts in Canva. So you can absolutely, select the text box. And then if you want, more of a cursive font, right, you can select that on the left-hand side. And I can change the color, of course, as well. All right, and now quick and easy way for you guys to change all three of the icon verbiage. about the same. So first of all, I need to figure out how big I want this. So I need to figure out how I want one to look, and then I can easily apply it to the others. So for example, let's say I want this a little bigger probably, right? And I probably want this to go down a line. Okay, maybe I want it bold. Okay, whatever it is, till it looks good to you. Once you have it the way you want it to, how you apply that to these is click on the text box that has the style you want. Then click on this little roller icon on the top right to copy the style. So you can see it like darkens it when I click it. And now see how I like have it here? I'm going to click on these words and it's going to apply that same formatting here so they match. Right? I love that feature. Saves so much time. Drives me crazy. And then same concept here, right? You just take that, apply it to the next one if you need me, right? If you want to put lines in between it like I did, shortcut for that is L for line. But you can also search in elements, right, for that line. So I can make it whatever size I want and put it between. Oh, well, this is a good time to tell you Command Z or Control Z. If you do something like I did, right? I was trying to drag the line and I dragged everything. Control Z or Command Z will undo whatever you just did. It's my best friend because lots of things like that happen, and no worries. Command Z, by the way, or Command, of course, is for Macs and Control is for PCs, but that works anywhere across the internet, like the Control Z, Command Z. So if you mess something up in Command, well, then you can just do Command Z and it will get rid of that. Okay, so now let's talk about getting this into our command account, right? So how we would actually send it. You saw as we were making the newsletters that you can add a photo in anytime, right? So at that point, what I would do is we're going to save this as a photo and add it to the newsletter as another picture. So, and I'll do that to the one that we already created. If you want to stick around and watch, you can. So right at this point, and I can even, just a couple more tips, like if I want to now create the other pieces like here with the same kind of like background and font scheme, what I would do at that point is if you click on this, this is a duplicate option right here, that will duplicate this page so that, okay, you can take off the content and now write about, you know, the top 3 coffee shop, like we could write now top 3 coffee shops, right? And then you're keeping most of your work's already done, right? And then you could just put the 3 on here, right? So you can see how that makes it a little more efficient too, duplicating that slide. So most of it's already there, and then you can delete what you don't need on it to recreate the next slide. Let's say for the top 3 coffee shops like this, or top 3 pumpkin patches, for example. Now, how I would go about now adding that, and you guys have seen the tactic, but I'm just going to show you real quick. So from Canva, what I'm going to do is now download these pieces. So I can click share on the very top right and download. Now, when you're downloading from Canva, right, it gives you a bunch of different options. Best for sharing is JPEG, and that'll put it kind of what you were asking earlier, what file size is prime for email. That's it. JPEG is what's PNG is an even higher file quality, which is a good thing if you're like printing, or I mean, they have PDF print. However, for sharing on Facebook or in emails, I would recommend the JPEG just because PNG is bigger and it takes longer to load and could be marked as spam. Just a recommendation, whatever works for you. And I'll click on download. And you can download all pages or just the first page. So I'll go ahead and download. So then what I'm going to do is switch over to command, right? So in this practice, right, I really make everything in Canva first. I then come over to command, right? And I go into my design, right? We were in the design section of command, right? Or I'm in the campaign section already, so I'll just show you from here. So when I click on select design here, and let's say I want to use that September newsletter that I started, right? I'll go ahead and click on that. But now instead at the top, let's say I want an image. So I'll go ahead and pull over the image to go right on top here. Oops, not like that. You can see I just put it in the wrong spot. So I just simply clicked on it and then click the trash can. Okay, so I laid that image. I'm going to click on add image. Now I can either drag and drop or pull it in from my computer. So there it is. So you can see this is now when they open the email, instead of seeing this, this is what they would see. So you can see what a difference that makes. And while it is a couple extra annoying steps, there are ways you can make it pretty streamlined, because especially if you make like the newsletter template one time in Canva, well, guess what? Then every other time you want to keep your branding the same. So it's really just switching out the content. So while this might be tedious up front, I think it could make a big impact in your business. This is an email that I would scroll down with versus this is an email I would put in my trash, just being honest. Yeah. Great question. So that's where I make sure to mix in text in there. Very, very great question. So, so far, the practices we're using are working. They're not going to spam from what we've been able to tell, because I'm trying to mix it in, like adding in written verbiage. A video also helps switch things up, but you're right. Don't do everything in Canva. Do some of it on the email itself. Great point. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, they use constant contact, but yes, this was in the actual email. Exactly. So like these two, usually I'll do the top and maybe one of the, like the entertainment piece, and then always the call to action. So really, the call to action stays the same every time. The top stays the same. I just switch out the topics, right? So really all I'm recreating each month is maybe this, and you could even put it in the email itself. And then outside of that, this goes directly in the email, and that's just something entertaining, go to Keeping Current Matters, or, just, you don't have to even recreate an existing article, like because it is a lot of work to have to read it and then reword it. You guys already know about real estate. You are the expert. So just like look at, okay, what's a question you're getting asked a lot? Is it a seller's market? And then give your opinion. It could be one paragraph and it's still valuable because it's your opinion too, right? So anyway, don't feel like it has to be this whole long article like you're seeing those blog posts. It absolutely does not, right? You want to focus on how can you make this achievable in your business without having to, make it a long process, because that's when it's going to get kicked out of your business, right? And if you want more steps on that, we can practice together. Let's make this an efficient process in your business, and I'll give you best, practices. We'll figure out the best system for you. So schedule an appointment and we can figure that out, because email marketing is something that shockingly not a lot of agents do at a high level, right? And a lot of them don't do it at all. So, just reminding your contacts that you're in email or you're in real estate is very, very powerful. Any questions I can answer for you guys? Do we feel so overwhelmed we're never going to open a computer again? Right. Oh, good. But at the same time, it's a lot. So with that being said, like listen to what I'm saying in these classes, then book appointments with us. So then you can say, hey, you said this in class, how can I implement it? And we'll actually do it together, especially if you're learning the KW technology, it adds an extra realm of excitement. So don't feel like you have to do it on your own either. Come see us and we'll do it together. Oh, you're fine. Oh, I do have a video on this. So if you guys want the video as well, like I have a 15-minute video on how, not the Canva part, but just in general, how to send email newsletters. If you don't mind shooting me an email of just anything you want extra info on, I can provide that for you. I'll say, yeah, and then I'll respond back with my Calendly link too, so you guys can book an appointment. Let's do it together, one at a time, because I know this is a lot. However, I think this is, if you're going to focus on one channel of marketing, right? People always go to social media. It's powerful too. However, what we realized is even more powerful is we started creating this content for the newsletters and realized we can repurpose all of this content on social media. So we create the content on here, right? And then, that entertainment piece of the 3 best coffee shops, we put that on social media. The video that our clients make, that gets put on social media. The blog puts on social media. So instead of creating brand new content for your emails, brand new content for your social media, recycling that content in the different channels, I used to be concerned, well, what if they saw it on Facebook and now they're seeing this in the email? Actually, studies show that people who get their news from Facebook, for example, are not the same people who maybe get it from their mailers in their mailbox or from their emails, right? I get my news from Facebook. I don't look at my personal email, right? So just because you're sending that same content, it's not inundating people. That's actually best practices. And then you make less content. All right. All right, guys, any other questions? Anything out? It doesn't even have to be about emailing. Is there anything you need to know about? Good. Canva is my favorite. Yeah. It's just more, PowerPoint can do a lot of it. I was impressed with PowerPoint doing that. I use it as a workaround, but Canva's like created for it more. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So if like it's hooked to Terry's, then if she puts something on her personal calendar anyway, that blocks off the Calendly like event. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. Like we can set, what times people can go in and yeah, exactly. Um, oh, right. Well, if they're tasks, it shouldn't like block it off. But if she creates like an event tomorrow at 12:30, then right, the task won't block it. Oh, okay. Okay, well then never. You could you could always use your email to connect it instead, or your calendar. Yeah, right. All right, you guys, let me know as I can help. Good, I'm so glad. You know where to find me. Shoot me an email. I'm here to help you guys.